What is good, you guys? Welcome back to my channel and my podcast. Thank you so much for being here. Today, you guys, I just want to get into it because I have a beautiful success story that I want to share with you. And I feel like this will answer questions because I've gotten many questions that, Autumn, can we bring people back from the dead? Like, what about reconciliation with family and all these things? And this success story really truly embodies what it really means, especially if someone has passed on, then reconciling those thoughts, the situation with them, how you still can do it, even if they're not present here in the 3D. And just this whole story in general, when it comes to dying to the old self, to really resurrect that version of you that has your desires, and how you must let go of all the stories of yourself and others in order to receive the correction of the perception. So let's get into this video because this had me in tears when we were talking about it. This is my client that I've been working with for about 2 months now, and she's starting to see all of her manifestations unfold one after the other. Like literally, her head is going to swim. All right, so let's get into this video. So, my client's backstory is this client was very logical when she got to me. Very, very logical. Spent so much time trying to change what had occurred, all the separation in her life from her job to her relationships to her family dynamics to her story. It was always like that there was someone outside of her or other. So, she had all these oppositions with all of these people, but what is it really when you have oppositions with your 3D, your job, your career, your family, your partner, all these things? What is it? It's really the separation that you perceive within yourself. So, this was one of those things where I really had to just share with her over and over about how much that there are no others. And this is what I've talked about in my video, that there are no others. So if you really want to understand this more, this is what we're talking about. So, what happened was a few weeks ago, we were really talking about how not to do anything, how not doing actually brings you your manifestation because it's the higher self working through you. And what it really means to be the operant power is just to put your awareness on what it is that you want. And so, she did start intending to put her awareness on the fact that she was one with herself and her relationships and making the conscious choice to choose the new story, even though it felt at the time that it was just not real and it wasn't working. But she was spending so much time trying to dissect the past, trying to dissect what's happening in the present, but it was coming from that old story. So we really talked about not doing nothing and letting it go and letting all the stories and what to do when you feel that anxiety. And so she called me just really just upset about a few weeks ago. Her mother was coming to visit, and there was so much separation or perceived separation about what she thought her parents wanted her to do ever since she was younger. And the story with her father, like they didn't have that relationship. The father and the mother, they split up, and her father had so many other kids, and it didn't seem like he connected with her. And she had all these stories going around that, which played out into her life and all of her other relationships, her job, and all of this, just not feeling that she was supported or that she had to figure out what she had to do in order to be accepted by others. So there was so much anxiety coming up as she was not trying to figure out what was happening, trying to dissect things, what others was saying, and consciously choosing the new story, which that happens, you guys. That resistance is going to come up, but it's coming up so you can reconcile it in the moment, so you can see it as whole, as one, to change your perspective of it. So she called me because her mom was coming into town, and she said that she had been intending that her and her mom actually had a good relationship. So when her mother wanted to come visit her, she was like, okay, I see that this would be an opportunity to do so. But every time she would be around her mother previously, she had those thoughts and those feelings of, oh my gosh, like, well, who do I need to be? Just always adjusting herself to who she thought her mom wanted her to be. And so there was never any cohesiveness, never any relaxing and allowing and enjoying. And so this is what she wanted to do. But she called me and she was just so upset, just so full of anxious. She said she had been having panic attacks. And what do I do when I'm having these feelings? What do I do when I'm experiencing all these things. And she's like, I just literally feel like I'm dying. Like, I literally feel like I'm dying. And I just helped her switch her perspective to the fact that you would have to see that it's the old you that's dying, the old you that's being let go, the more that you're choosing the new story. So it's not to change what's occurring. And yes, you may feel this way, but it's to give it a different meaning. You're giving it the meaning of like, oh, anxiety, I'm dying. But you can give that same anxiety a different meaning and say that this is actually me becoming that new person. This is actually me embodying that new person, and to leave that other story alone. I think that you guys don't understand. When I really say you abandon the old story, you literally have to abandon the old story of yourself and others. So we really just talked about it. And I said, see as the fact that it is that old version of you dying. Those circumstances don't have a hold on you anymore. Of course, it's going to feel just anxiousness, but your only job is to just choose, not to change, not to grab on, not to figure out. Just choose, and choose that this is going to be an amazing experience with your mother, and just choose to see it. You have to choose to see it. You have to drop the old stories and choose as much as you can. And so that's what she did. And so we actually had a conversation this past weekend. And you guys, the events that unfolded back to back for her have been just amazing. We both were so tearful. It was just amazing to see. She said before we got off the phone last time, before when she was having that panic attack, I told her, I said, this could be just easy, that you could just let it go and decide. You're the only decider of your life. You're the only one that is claiming. But if you're not claiming who you are, and that it is that easy, and that you could just decide in this moment to be who you want to be, then you're allowing the 3D and the circumstances to still choose for you. And she was like, well, can it just really be that easy? Can I just really decide? Can I just really let go? And I said, yes, just let it go and see. And so what happened, she said, with her mom was the fact that they were having so many conversations. She said it was uncomfortable, but she chose to now look through the lens of love instead of looking through the lens of lack, because her stories were filled with lack. Stories were filled with opposing others, that others were against her, that others wanted her to be and do something that she wasn't, that she had to adjust herself. But instead, you're the operant power. So you're choosing the new stories, you're choosing the new state of being, and everyone is going to move along with that. So, with that trust and her choosing to see her mother as she always wanted to see her, that there was never any separation, they started having these amazing conversations. And she said that she could just see that her mom never ever put an expectation on her to be a certain way, and that they had an amazing time. Her mom was just so loving, so caring. Everything that she wanted to see from her mom, she saw it. But what she said, that she saw that it was actually always there, but because she was looking from separation and looking at her mom as someone else outside of her, that it wasn't her projecting her state of being and her mom just playing the role to show her that she felt the lack or the separation. She now chose to see that we were one, me and my mom are one, and we love each other, and we're having this experience. And so she allowed, and they had the most amazing experience. And she said during that time, the siblings, because her father had passed on, and that was a relationship that she really wanted to reconcile. She didn't feel like she got the closure from it. It was just something that felt like it was missing within her for years, and she beat herself up for it. But she said that she had been in contact with other siblings, but her father had over 20 something other children. And I think she said she has 24 siblings, but she herself is the oldest. But she felt disconnected after her parents split up. She never really was in contact with her father like that, but she was in contact with two of the other siblings. And so they were actually deciding to have a trip to come visit her. And she said that the day that her mom left, I think her siblings came to visit her. She said it just happened so randomly. They were like, we're going to come see you. They were so excited to make a trip to come see her. So she said that when they came to her doorstep and she opened it, they showed up with two other siblings that she never met before. And she said that the way that she felt her heart just kind of cracked open, like the emotions that came through, that she had felt all this disconnect from her father. and didn't know him well, but kind of knew of the siblings, but didn't feel like they wanted her around, felt like she wasn't welcome, felt the separation within that. She said that she didn't realize that all her siblings have been wanting to meet her. So they all just showed up to her doorstep and they had an amazing time that weekend. And she said that just hearing her siblings tell the story of who her father was, how he got himself together, how he became a good man, how everybody loved him, and they had so much wonderful things to say, sharing stories, sharing pictures, really trying to include her in knowing who her father was. She said that at the moment she didn't feel really worthy, but she said it was kind of like it was everything she was starting to see was through this new lens of love. Really quickly, what was really happening, you guys? Because problems only occur with others in your world when you believe that there's another outside of you. Again, there are no others. And her previous lens was lack and separation. So the stories of her family, the parents, everyone, her job, everyone in her life, her whole life showed the stories were showing that her state of being was of separation and was of lack. But she was really learning within this that there really is no others. And so, what is really actually happening here is she was performing a miracle, which is the correction of your perception and the fact that there are no others, that there is only love, that your desires are always here now in the present by the lens, the state of being which you are looking through. And so, if you're looking through the state of I am and commanding your life, you're looking through the lens of love, and that's all that you will see. So I'm going to read really quickly before we get into the rest of this passage from A Course in Miracles. This is what I was thinking as she was telling me this, and this will really describe to you what we really mean when we say that there are no others. So we're going to read from A Course in Miracles, chapter 9, and it says, "If your brothers are part of you, will you accept them? Only they can teach you what you are, for your learning is the result of what you taught them." Now, let's pause that really quick because what this means is you're learning from others the result of what you taught them about your state of being, whether you implied separation or whether you implied the fact that you are one with your desires. And so the rest says, "What you call upon in them, you call upon yourself. And as you call upon it in them, it becomes real to you." So, again, what does this really mean, you guys? Now, where can you see this is true in your life? Because you make up all the stories about others and the separation. So, let's say your SP, you think that they did this to you and all these things because you believe the stories of them having, let's say, drinking problems or them growing up a certain way and all these things. If you see separation within your specific person, that is what you call upon in them, and it is real to you, whether it's third parties, whether it's other things, whether this is with your job, whatever it is, your whole life, wherever you see separation and you project the judgments onto it or another, that is what you call upon, and that's what you're seeing within you. It becomes real to you because remember, the world and everyone in it is playing the role that you are giving them through what you are projecting onto them. And if it's judgments of separation that you put onto others, it will show real to you because why, guys? There is only one mind. And so the last little bit of this passage is, "Only God has but one Son, knowing them all as one." So there is only one consciousness, and everyone exists within this consciousness, playing the role together in all these different little stories to make up I am. So there is only one mind. And when you, as the operant power for your world, decide to see through separation or love or whatever, or the judgments or the stories that you're buying into, projecting, or believing about others, now that person must morph into that to show you what you created about them, what you've implied about them, and what you're implying about yourself and your world. All right. So it can be no other way. So back to the story, you guys, because where she was seeing separation before with her family and all, just growing up through her life, her parents, and not feeling connected to her dad, that was the one thing that really just felt that separation in her heart. And when she when he passed, she didn't feel that she got the reconciliation or the love. Like she did not have the relationship with him. But it doesn't matter if someone passes on from this life, they're always with you. People are always with you. If you've lost somebody in this physical world, they still will be with you no matter what. And so, what she was seeing now, because this is why manifestation is instant, you guys, because previously, through her lens of lack, what she was seeing with her father, the stories that she believed in, that he didn't love me, that he had all these other kids, and, I'm separate and he doesn't care about me, and all these things, because he had 24 kids, that he doesn't love me and that that's bad, and the projections onto him and all these things. But now that she's seeing through the lens of love, she's seeing 24 siblings. Oh my God, how much love do I have now from my dad? How much now, because I'm in contact with my siblings and they're sharing with me these stories, how much closer do I feel to my dad? The fact that he was never separate from you, and you get that same love and experience through your siblings. So she said where she didn't feel before that she had love, she got 24 siblings where she has so much love and joy now, and excitement at the fact that they want a relationship with her. They want to get to know her. She feels like she's getting to know her dad through them. So again, you guys, there are no others. There is no separation. And so she's seeing how loved she is. And she said to me that I feel like my dad just basically brought them in and to show me how much he loved me. And so, yes, you guys, everyone is still with you. He may not be coming back in the physical form in this realm, but he's still here amongst the kids that he did leave behind. And so that reconciliation that she's having within herself, seeing herself as whole, this is why you drop all the stories in the past, your stories that you believed in about yourself, believed in about others, her family, and all of that. It got corrected on its own because she decided that there was no separation within herself. She dropped it. She said, you know what, I'm choosing the version of myself that where it's always been love in my life, always been accepted. I've always been accepted for whatever I want to do and whoever I want to be, and no one's placed judgments on me. But it wasn't occurring at first because she was not removing the stories of others. So once she got it, that it can be no other way, whatever you decide for yourself, you have to decide it for others. If you choose to see abundance for yourself, you have to choose to see abundance for others. If you decide that there is love here and now, then there can be no separation. You have to free everybody from the stories so that way they are able to move and shift around, and you'll see within them what you truly want to see, you guys. So this was such a beautiful, 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 beautiful. We both were sobbing because she was like, I just didn't think that it would happen that fast. I didn't think that it would rush in this way. I didn't think the reconciliation would happen this way. And what are you really reconciling, you guys? You are reconciling yourself. That's why when you're imagining things to be the way that you want it to be, people to be the way that you want them to be, circumstances and situations in the world to be the way that you want it to be, instead of seeing that lack and choosing to see it the way that you want it to be in the only moment that you have, which is now, then that is what you're doing. Now you're integrating the past and all that old circumstances that you didn't have to change because it did happen in one reality, and it was perfect for that version that felt the lack that story was. And that's what she got. She said, you know what, I realized that the way that I was before, my life was perfect for that person. So if I decide to be who I truly want to be now, then how much more perfect will it be? And that is the truth, you guys, that you are the operant power for your life. And behind the appearances, the forms that always change, is the truth, is that there is only one mind. So what you're putting your awareness on constantly, you're either creating it or you're recreating the past. So once you let go of all the stories from the past and just gave everyone a clean slate, reconciled with herself, that higher power moved through her, because you couldn't figure out that she was going to get reconciliation and feel that love from her father, from the siblings. We didn't know that they were coming to visit. She didn't know she was going to have this amazing experience with her mom. She didn't know all of that. But the higher power is always moving to show you who you're being, to show you, to give you your desires, that you don't have to do anything but assume the position of being the one who has. So that's why I say, you guys, if you just assume the position instead of trying to change what was previously, trying to dissect, trying to get inside the story and figure out how, and literally move within the mind of the all imagination and seeing things the way that you want them to be, seeing yourself the way that you want to be, seeing others the way you want them to be, and telling a new story and telling that only, that is what you're feeding formless awareness for it to become and push out. Because what God knows, it becomes. What God chooses to see, it becomes, it pushes out, you guys. It can't be no other way. All right. So I'm going to leave this here. This was such a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I just love doing this, you guys. It's just such amazing to hear you guys have these amazing breakthroughs, these stories, and these instant manifestations, because manifestation is always instant when you correct your perception. All right. So I love you guys. I'm going to leave this here. Get down in the comments below and let me know how much this assisted you. And if you would like a phone or email session with me, then get down in the description box below. Don't forget to download the freebies. Don't forget to join us on Discord. And yeah, you guys, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Join the podcast and imagination. I'm not lying to you guys when I say it's always on your side, but I am too. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye.